Let's cut the next thread. A little bit more. Once it's started straight, you can just do it by hand. It'll run down quite nicely. I do need to make a tailstock die holder for this lathe. Quite a handy tool to have. It's quite nice tight thread. I'll actually mark this off where I need to cut it now. I do like using these collets. I need to make a collet holder for this lathe. This is working alright, but a collet holder will be a lot shorter. Not this overhand. It's going to reface the end. I now need to put a slot in the end. Somebody's going to put a slot in with a hacksaw blade. I could mount this in the mill and put a slot in with a snipping saw before. All it's got to do. A simple hacksaw slot across the centre will be more than sufficient. Slots in. I'm going to put a little drop of Loctite on the threads because these are prone to coming loose. Didn't want to play. Bastard thing will play though. Try the worm the other way up. Better. It's obviously been together for the last however many years one way, and it wants to stop that way. That's quite nice. Nothing the matter with that, it's looking nice. The jaws are now nice and parallel. I've given the spanner a little bit more buff up on the wire wheel. You can see there where it's been welded up. You can see also how the two jaws are now parallel to each other. A nice new pin in there. Ready to work now for that. 0 so though. It's a job to me that is worth doing, because I do like old tools, and I like to see old tools carry on being used. I really bet this could tell some stories. Some definite hammer wounds on there. You can see where it's had pipe across the handle, it's been hammered. And all it says is British made. There's a lad on one of the forums that go on, it's actually a MIG welding forum, asked us if I could cast some nameplates for a narrow gauge locomotive they're working on. I said, as long as you do the patterns, I'll cast them for you, because all the times in the patterns. You've got a friend of his to make these patterns. He's made a decent job of them, but the way the letters are, there's no chance at all of this coming out with a sander. They're too square, there isn't enough draft on them. Plus to cast it out of bronze, there's a colossal amount of bronze just in the base alone. I can't melt that much. So I've decided I'll do the patterns for him, and I'm going to look out for some old car number plate letters, which he's done. He's found enough to do the job. When I was an apprentice in the motor trade, I've made literally thousands of number plates up, and these are the letters I used to use. There was a frame that you put on the number plates and you punched holes in. They went on, there was like an aluminium stock clip went on the back, and when they didn't work, used to melt the end with a soldering iron. I've thrown thousands of these out. When the modern laminated number plates came in, these were totally obsolete, and now, if you can find them, they're quite expensive. But they're a nice letter, the draft's all the right way, they're nice and smooth. These will definitely cast easily. What I need to do is cut the little tags off the back. Cut the tags off the back, and I'm going to sand them nice and smooth, and these can be glued onto the pattern. I've decided to use this to make the base of the pattern with. It's like a modern type of formaker. It's like an insulating board you use on big circuit boards. It's good stuff to work with, but it's nasty stuff, it's poisonous to dust. I've cut it with a grinder, and I've actually cut it outside. I'm going to put it in the milling machine and mill it square, mill the edges straight, and we can set the letters out, and I'd simply glue them on there, probably with some super glue. I might probably put an edge on as well to give it a bit more shape. I think the first thing to do is try and get this in a milling machine and just try and get the edges squared up. I've got a nice flat bar set up on the table, and I've just got enough travel to be able to machine this edge square. Put a couple of clamp bars onto it. Put a lovely finish on it. So all I'm going to do is get a nice square edge to work through. Steel wants a good clean anyway. You can certainly get one after this. I've managed to get it all except for the last 1/4 inch. That's 16 3/4 inch I've actually managed to cut, which is not bad for a mill machine of this size. It's certainly a lot more than it would have cut before I modified it. I cut quite a lot of material all the ends of it to make sure I had to get it to full travel. Turn it round, do the other side. To make sure I get this front face square, all I'm going to do is line up the back face I've just machined with the back of the table, like that. Not rocket science, nice and simple, very accurate. It's often the simple, easy ways are overlooked. And you can mess around with a clock gauge along there, but simply doing that, this is lined up with the back of the table. It can be nothing else except parallel at the front. I need to machine that in now, and it's got to be 90 degrees to that face. Once again, very simple. That simply goes on there. That pushes up against it. So that face now is parallel with that, which means that this is going to be running at 90 degrees to that. Even on a Chinese mill, it's 90 degrees. That's a classic example there, plain milling. That's conventional milling, going into the direction of the cut. If you go the other way, that's plain milling where the cutter's trying to pull the job in. You can do it with this sort of stuff, plastic, aluminium. You don't want to do it with steel, not on a lightweight machine like this. It's got its place in the industry, but it hasn't got its place in here. I've glued some thin edging around the sides of the pattern, and I've actually machined, or I've sanded a slight taper on it, what they call a draft. This is so it comes out of the sand. The sand's going to go on there, and you turn it over and you lift it out that way, and the taper allows it to come out of the sand nice and easily. I want to put a nice fillet in here. It looks better, and also you don't want square corners on a mould. So all I use fillet wax is basically beeswax, and I'm using the ball out of my starter wiggler. Push it into the corners like that, and that pulls across and it leaves a lovely little fillet. I'll go all the way around with that, and then we'll set out the letters and stick the letters on, and I want to try and get this cast tomorrow. This gives a lovely concave fillet. Using beeswax, you can actually paint it if you need to. You can paint on the top of it. I'm not going to paint this because it's only going to get used twice. A lot of work goes into it. People don't realise how much work actually goes into a pattern. Casting's the easy bit. Making the pattern is the hard, time consuming part. Then I've got the letters spaced out, and they'll be right because Deb did them. Right, ready to glue them on. Got some Loctite all-purpose glue here, fairly thick stuff. I'm going to use that to glue them on. I want to make sure the spelling's right. Any excess glue can be cut off with a scalpel blade later, but I don't think it'll need to be. Look at that.
Bastard.
Bastard! This is the gear I got off my friend. Big fixture plate there of some description. And some sort of clamping jig. It's ground on all sides, so it's certainly be nice and square. Several lathe tools. Nice little tip tool there. Lathe driving dog. There's a vernier height gauge here, being obviously made from a decent sized caliper. A lot of this stuff will be given away to friends who haven't got. I mean, I've got a digital one, a lot of people haven't got a height gauge at all. That will be given away to somebody that needs it. It's a big milling cutter there, in decent condition. There's some nice parallels here. I'll use these all the time. These are all parallels as well. There's a little bit of surface rust on them, but they'll clean up, no problem. I haven't got very many parallels, but now I've got several sets that I can use. Inside there's a face plate here. I'm not sure what it's off. I'll have a measure the threads and measure the register on there. I've got one or two friends who have small layers. It'll possibly fit one of them. This was in the box as well. Been quite nicely made. Got a tool post on there. A nice fit in there. I'm not quite sure what it's being used for, but I'm sure somebody will be able to modify that and make use of it. box here, centre drills and countersinks in it. Some really small centre drills. All good makes as well. Dormer. So when they're being ground to, that's what I use broken centre drills for. Make little tools for boring bars. Another box here with milling cutters in. That one's in good condition. And that one. They're all Imperial. Another box here, more milling cutters. It's like a hand ground ball end cutter, that one. Another one. That one's been ground like a drill. I'll go through them and say what's usable and what's not. And as I say, a lot of these will be given away. I'll never ever use all these, but interesting the way that one's been grown. Anyway, Stuart, if you're watching, thanks very much. I do appreciate it. And as I say, a lot of this tooling, it gets swapped and given away. It doesn't just get put in a drawer and forgot about. So it will be put to good use. Once again, it's just time to say thanks very much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for clicking the like button. And as usual, a special thanks for all the well wishes that are coming in towards Debs and me dad. Thanks very much.